3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our Sunday Q&A session where we take your comments and we answer them through or in this video. We're here live. We did it before and now we're doing it again. We're at one of our favorite listings here at 223 Hallmark Avenue.
Correct. This is a cool house. It's recently been completed. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs, but it has designed right from the very beginning, a full legal 2-bedroom basement apartment. We're going to link this at the end of this video, right?
Yes, you will see a link at the end of the video, but it takes basement apartment to a whole nother level.
Oh, it's beautiful right? Down there. It's and we're in South Etobicoke here, in Alderwood, a very popular area.
You got a nice sunny day outside.
It's a gorgeous day.
Let's get started.
I don't think we're headed into winter at all.
It doesn't feel like that, that's for sure.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
So let's get started with the comments here. So first comment comes from Sailing Catamaran Element, and they say, the mistake being made is that the parent should still collect the rent as a forced savings plan and investing. When they have accrued enough for a deposit, then relinquish the funds when they make an offer on their own place.
So this is from the video where the parents told their kids or one of their married children, come back, live in the basement, no rent, save your money so you could help them save for a down payment. And the story was that some of these kids now, with no rent expense, were living the life and not really saving for a down payment.
Cash for life, $2,000 a month.
Cash for life. That's right. So that's one option for sure. That would be one option, charging them rent and putting that aside and saving it for them.
And there was actually quite a few comments that echoed the same sentiment here, as basically the parents should just collect the rent and save it for them. And we discussed it a little bit on the video, where basically if you tell them that you're going to do that, then they're thinking, okay, well, why am I going to,
save elsewhere?
Yeah, why I'm going to save elsewhere. So. But I think the bigger issue with this is, especially when we talk about, because we see this happen with adults. Like, these are grown adults that we're talking about.
Yeah, we're not talking about babies.
We're talking about people in their late 20s. We're talking about people in their 30s. And if they still need their parents to save and hide money for them in order to be able to save, and that's the only way they can really save for a down payment. Like, there's a much bigger issue there. I think that you
got to ask how financially responsible are they? That's
kind of brewing, right? Because we see it all the time, where it's but we'll see people that have let's say been gifted a home or been gifted the down payments for a home, and then it's hard for them to manage because they don't have the financial kind of understanding of everyday expenses and stuff like that, right? So it kind of seems like this structure, just based on what I've seen, even some friends of mine that have been kind of a similar situation, if you don't have the fundamentals of knowing that, hey, you need to save money in order to get to destination, whatever it is.
You're living in your parents' house, right? So you figured you'd want some independent, and you want to get out as soon as you can, as fast as possible.
It just feels like there's if this is the route that you have to take, it feels like there's a missing piece there, and that missing piece is the financial literacy for the kids, because the kids should have they should be taught that they have to save on their own. You shouldn't have mommy and daddy saving for you at 30 years old, right?
That's my kid talking there.
Yeah, you definitely don't have money saved for me, do you? You got some money for me?
I've spent all the money I've saved for you, buddy.
What was it? 2 movie tickets and popcorn?
that the other day, your mom and I went to the movies. That was the last of whatever was left for you. We had to get the medium popcorn, not the large.
Even the large. Okay, so that's an interesting comment there. But next comment here comes from RFM. RFM.
Let's keep it professional. Keep it professional.
And they say, would it be fair to say condos have gotten smaller, but freeholds has gotten bigger? Does this have to do with the common element fees for condos based on square foot? while property tax is based on value and not land area?
A lot of that comment, the answer would be yes. So condos have become smaller. Homes, new homes, have become bigger. There's subdivisions where, 2,500 is like the minimum start. There used to be a time where if you said you live in a 3,000 square foot home, people go, what? Must be a mansion. Not anymore. 3,000 square foot home in a lot of areas is quite normal. It's not even one of the bigger ones, right? But I wouldn't say for condos have become smaller. I wouldn't say it's because of the maintenance fees. I would say it's because the builders, they cater to demand. And if they can make them smaller and people are buying them, well, by making them smaller, they can actually fit more units in that building and sell more units that way. So it's about profit. It's about making money. And as long as people are buying, look, if builders could figure out a way for people to buy 200 square foot condos, they would do it. It's just a little ridiculous that small, and nobody's really going to buy, not even an investor.
Never know.
But those were the people buying. Investors didn't put a lot of effort into saying, yeah, somebody could live here. It's, well, I could buy it cheap. Someone's going to rent it. And that's what they did. But, that's condos. I don't think it's because the cost of maintenance fees. And homes got bigger because people were buying them and people were looking to buy bigger and bigger and bigger homes. And builders were supplying them because they make more profit.
Okay. So next comment here comes from Anthony Walsh 93. And Anthony says, and this is in response to our video we did about, wealth versus renting versus buying.
Renting versus
people
buying.
that choose to rent, stuff like that. But this comment says, I'm thinking about this myself. I don't see the value in putting my life savings into a property in the GTA/Canada that's depreciating currently. And it comes with all-time high monthly mortgage payments. The only challenge right now is the fact that renting in the GTA is also very high currently. But the caveat is you keep your down payment for investment elsewhere.
There's a lot of elements to this comment. So look, let me start with the end part. If you're going to keep your investment or you're going to keep your money and invest it elsewhere instead of a home, great, good for you. If you think you could do better, then do better. And lots of people do. If you think that because it's the climate where homes are, values are kind of depreciating, although they're mostly flat right now and they have been for a few months, but let's just say they are depreciating. If you think this is the wrong climate to invest in a property in, so what are you saying? It's better to invest in a property when prices are going up because you're paying more, right? So what are you saying there? If you feel that this is the bottom or it's a good time for you to buy, then buy. If it's not a good time for you to buy, then don't buy. But you got to live somewhere. So if you're not buying, then you're renting. So if you're complaining about home prices and you're complaining about rent prices, like something's got to give somewhere. Like you got to live somewhere. So you got to do something somewhere. Every family is different. Every environment's different. Everybody's in different financial situations. You decide what's best for you.
Yeah. Okay, so next comment here comes from Scoobs63.
Scoobs.
I think it's Scoobs.
Scooby-Doo?
I'm going with Scoobs. But this with regards to our condo video where we were talking about basically
no lockers,
no parking, just these small units. The whole situation seems to be compounding with these condos. But this person says, the vacant home tax is going to make it worse. And I imagine what they're discussing is like people don't want these condos, they're getting worse. And now
and the condos, a lot of them are vacant.
Yeah.
People closed and want to sell them right away. So they didn't move in and they don't have them rented.
So now their comment is the vacant home tax is going to make it worse.
It's definitely make it more complicated for some of these people if they've not figured a skate around.
Well, that's the thing, right? I think that this vacant home tax, I mean, there's a lot of, I think,
Very
ways,
creative people out there.
very creative people with very creative ways to.
We're not condoning any of this.
No, of course not.
But there are people that
we
get-
see it, right? We see it.
we see it.
You know, you walk into a condo and you have a lamp and a mattress, right? It's no longer vacant. It's
The
just,
mattress still has the plastic on it.
yeah, it's minimalist though. It's not vacant. It's minimalist. So I think I don't know. I'd be curious to know how many people are actually paying that home tax versus the amount that are actually vacant, because I think
What are you saying?
I think there's a lot of people that are finding ways to get around it. If I had to guess, right? You just have to have a lot of kids. Next comment here comes from
Put the property in their names. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. So next comment here comes from John Connolly 9139, and John says, "Everyone got scammed at my condo. The locker fine print stated for bicycles only, and now they are completely useless other than for bicycles, according to fire department. Glad I didn't pay extra for one."
So he didn't get scammed.
He didn't get scammed.
So not everybody got scammed.
yeah, that's true. But this is interesting. You know, there's some buildings like Steph's building, right? They have the same situation where the lockers that are located in the parking garage, which is generally where most lockers are located.
Convenient. That's where you have stuff in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are bike lockers. But then what they've done, which I think was actually a really smart idea, and we don't see it too often, is on the floor where you're actually living, you have your set of lockers, right? You got your hallway with your set of lockers, and we're not talking about like just like a caged off locker. You got like your own little room in there, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's some interesting options, but yeah, read the fine print when it comes to
Absolutely read the fine print.
when it comes to your purchases.
You get a locker, and then somewhere else there's an asterisk, and it says only for bicycles.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But anyways, next comment here comes from Angelo Verone. And Angelo, he has commented on two of our videos, and I missed the comment on the last one, but he says, "My comment asking about power lines and towers being too close to the house was never mentioned. Please, if you could discuss this very important topic next time, it'll be very much appreciated. How close is too close? Does it affect child leukemia?"
Wow.
Yeah, that's
What a question. I did see this, and I knew we would be talking about it. I thought for sure you're going to flag this one. Okay, so the way they're built now, the hydro fields, the hydro towers, the power lines, everything is built according to whatever public safety ministry says is okay. There have been lots and lots of studies done on this. Is it okay to live that close? Is there a connection between the power lines and cancer for those people that live too close? For what the city believes, the whatever body deals with the zoning and building bylaws and what they feel, the way they're being built now is fine.
yeah.
There's no risk. That's a big issue, though.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the tests say, what the government says as far as what's allowed, what's not allowed. The biggest thing with power lines, I find, dealing with clients is they think there's a risk.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's bad.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then that's the case.
Yeah.
You know, no question. I've never said to anyone, well, actually, there's tests that say it's okay. If you don't feel they're good, they're no good. Apart from the visual, right? If you don't like looking at them, that's another story. But we're talking something more medical
serious,
here,
yeah.
more serious than that. But then how do you feel about microwave? How do you feel about a cell phone next to your ear, because there's lots of stories about those also. There's been lots of tests saying they're okay, and then you'll watch another documentary and it'll say, I got cancer right where the phone I keep in my pocket all the time, or something like that. So very, very tricky thing to talk about. If you're not into it, don't in any way buy close to these things. But as far as the government is concerned, their tests have all proved that, or shown that, as long as we're building with the guidelines that the government gives us, everything should be okay.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, it's difficult for you or me or really anyone that's buying or selling homes to have an opinion on something like this, because I mean, we're not scientists. This is not part of our wheelhouse at all. But the one thing that we can say that you mentioned is, we've had clients that have wanted to go see a property, and you don't necessarily, if someone's listing their home, they're doing everything they can to avoid all those hydro wire pictures,
the
right?
Photos
you'll never
that.
see the hydro wires. But then once you get to the house and you actually see it, if the clients are immediately turned off, then we just leave, right?
But we'll often see that before, because we do our search before we go see it, and I'll see it there right on Google Maps, saying I see the power lines. We tell all the clients before we go, by the way, this backs onto a hydro field. How do you feel about that? And if their attitude is I don't care, then we go see it. If they say, oh, no, then why go to see it? Right?
But for the most part, I think most of the people that we've been in that situation with have just said no. Yeah. Right? A lot of people are fearful of that. Yeah. So
most people will say no to that.
Anyways, next comment here comes from Imium SC 2197, and Imium says, Santos, why do you keep saying garage instead of garage?
Can you read that? Read that again?
Santos, why do you keep saying garage with a D instead of garage?
Garage with a
garage.
Garage.
I say garage.
Garage.
Yeah, you said it the right way this time. I don't know.
How do I normally say it?
I don't know.
That's the only way I say garage.
Garage.
I got a bigger issue though. Why is she calling me Santos?
Why? Yes. So why does he keep saying garage, or why do you keep saying Santos?
I'll work on garage. I'm not. How do I say that?
Garage.
Garage.
How you say it, man?
I think I say it right, but I'll work on that. You work on Santo instead of Santos, please.
His number one pet peeve. But anyways, next comment here comes from Donnie. And Donnie says, at 7:18, according to a stat in CBC's condo market video, most people, not some, actually seek out older condos because they're bigger. The main reason being that you can actually start a family in them. The average condo size over the years has consistently gone down, so newer condos aren't great for starting a family, but it's basically the only option young people have.
No, I will. According to our actual real life experience, maybe it's the people we're working with, but most people that call us to say, help me buy a condo, most of them prefer the newer condo with the newer feel, the more modern,
Even if the units are smaller.
Even if the units are smaller. If you ask them, do you prefer a larger unit? Yes, for the same price. But when we have taken them to the older buildings, they may like the unit, especially some of them are older where the unit itself has all been renovated.
Yeah.
They look really nice. They don't like what the building looks on the outside. They don't like the trip from the parking lot to the unit.
Yeah.
And if they could somehow figure out how to get into their unit from the outside balcony and not have to go through the hallway and the lobby, and then they're imagining their family and friends visiting, going through the lobby. And even though they like the unit, the building is too old, they don't want it. That's many more people are in that category that prefer the new one versus the old one, because you'd have to kind of look past the oldness of the building, even though your unit is nice and larger.
Yeah. And I think also saying here that the main reason being that you can actually start a family in them. I think when it comes to the people, and again, this is all just from our experience dealing with condo buyers, condo sellers.
Yeah, we don't have a survey on this, or we haven't done a poll.
I think that many of them don't see it as the place to start a family. I think many of them see it as, this is the place we're gonna start our real estate journey, going up the property ladder, and then the next place we get will be the place that we start the family. But for now, we want something that we can own and something that we're going to enjoy. And we're not necessarily talking about, when we say newer buildings, we're not talking about the ones that we speak of on negatively, right? We're not talking about the 400 or 500 square foot one bedrooms that one bedroom doesn't even have a window. We're talking about the newer buildings that do have nicer layouts, stuff like that, because there are a bunch of it. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people see their first condo as the place they want to start their family, and it's more for this is what we're going to do now to get it started. Like, this is our entry point into the real estate market, and then we're going to move up from there when we start our family. It's basically the idea that we see. Okay, so next comment here comes from Andrew McCall, and Andrew says, "It's preposterous how most homeowners could not afford the house they live in today if they had to do it over again today at today's prices. Accidental millionaires."
It's true, but he says it like it's only unique to the housing market, right? Most homeowners today that have owned their home for years, I don't mean, 2-3 years, but have owned their home for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, if they had to buy that home now today, they couldn't afford to buy their own home that they live in.
Yeah.
And so what? Like, what does that comment mean? It's a fact, it's true, but people have owned stocks for, the same stock for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't be buying those stocks today at the prices they are today.
Yeah.
Or, cars. There's many cars that have, collectors that have appreciated so much in value.
Yeah.
Like, they bought it for, $5,000 20 years ago.
Kept it in
Today
a
it's
barn.
worth, 105, and
Yeah.
it's like, who would buy it at that
Yeah.
price today unless you're, one of these rich collectors or something. So, yeah, most homeowners that have owned their home for many years couldn't afford to buy their own home now if they were buying it. But that's just, it's the way it is.
Yeah. Okay, so next comment comes from Mark37921, and this is with regards to condos, and he says, "This is one of the few areas where government needs to be involved to regulate.
The government.
You can't trust developers to build a sustainable and viable housing supply when they're pandering to investors and only interested in maximizing profit."
So the developers are pandering to investors because they're maximizing profit. True statement. But investors kind of not in the picture so much anymore. Mm-hmm. And the end user is really the one looking to buy a condo right now. And so builders' attitudes have changed already for many of the builders, the newer things that they're building, because the demand has changed. So one thing you could count on, builder being a private business, they want to make a profit. And that's where all their energy goes. And depending on demand and where they can make more profit, that's what they're going to do. So if the solution is to somehow get the government involved to solve all our problems, good luck on that one. It's about making money. And the builders will build whatever makes them money. And if demand for these little tiny units, what an investor typically would buy, if that demand is gone, and demand is we want 2 bedrooms, 800 square feet, we need parking for everything, and that's the only way builders are going to make money, guess what? That's what builders are going to build.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting right now because we see that we know in terms of new home sales, right? When it comes to condos in particular, those are down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And like there's just inventory is not moving. So, if that remains, then you won't need government intervention to figure out that problem because the builders are going to figure out themselves, right?
There's only
And
so long the builders can just pull out of the market and wait for things to turn around. And depending on, they learn. They build according to demand.
yeah, exactly. So I would say let supply and demand
Let the good times roll.
let supply and demand govern this, not the government. But okay, last question here, last comment here comes from Newsat Kadir. And Newsat says, buyers like me are more informed because of your videos. I make good decisions. I made good decisions because you provided me the knowledge. So I really want to thank you for that.
Hey, we appreciate you taking the time to put that in a comment. Thank you. Our goal in doing this, the regular shows we do during the week, is to inform. Mm-hmm. And if it can help a few people along the way, that's awesome. It makes us feel good.
No, it's definitely nice seeing those comments. So thank you guys for watching. That concludes our Sunday video for today. Leave your comments in this video, at the bottom of this video, and throughout the videos during the week. And
check out the video to this house. The links should be somewhere here on the screen.
Yes, it'll be somewhere here.
Have an awesome weekend.
Have an awesome day. Have an awesome day. I ended that off weird.
It's okay. Yeah, you're a weird guy. What can you
have an awesome day.
Let's go.